Okay, let's get started. First off, just wanted to say good morning to everybody online. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name's Lilli Williams and I'm the Partnerships Manager at BGL. Today, I'm excited to be hosting Stan. We've got the CEO from ATOmate today. ATOmate is a fast, simple and secure ATO document automation solution for accounting practices and SMSF teams, integrating directly with the ATO to automate the capturing, processing, checking, distribution and filing of all ATO documents, reducing your ATO document processing time by 90%. ATOmate connects seamlessly with all your practice management systems to match clients and check for discrepancies, and your document management system to automatically file documents and audit trails, and now integrates with BGL Simple Fund 360 to automatically identify super fund related ATO documents. Before we dive into Stan's presentation, we just want to go over a few housekeeping items. So firstly, this webinar will be recorded. So if you need to step away or you miss anything, you will receive a link to watch it later. And the recording will also be posted on our YouTube channel. The Q&A panel is open, so feel free to submit any questions you've got along the way. And we also have a quick little disclaimer. This information provided is for general informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. So now I'll hand you over to Stan to get us started.
Cool. Thanks, Lilli. Great to be here. So thank you very much for that introduction. Super excited to hear your description right at the end that we now have an integration with BGL Simple Fund. We'll talk a bit about that today as we go through. But Lilli, if you're looking for a gig somewhere else, you did a great job of introducing, explaining what we do. So thank you very much. So welcome everyone. Really excited to present today. Today will focus on what ATOmate does for an accounting practice, and we'll spend a little bit of time talking about how the BGL integration works and what it's going to do to really change the way we manage ATO documents that relate to super funds, and specifically what the game changer points are for you, the SMFS specialists in the accounting practice. So the first thing is we've got a bit of a poll. We've just launched that. If you jump into that and answer those questions for us, this gives us a bit of a feel on the audience today, and it also then gives me a greater understanding of how to pitch and some of the points I need to make. So awesome, that's coming up. We can see about 30% of you today are already using ATOmate, so we'll touch on that. A big percentage of you are doing it the old way, so we're going to put some really amazing tips and tools up for you today that has the capability to really change your world. So let's stop rattling and get the hell on with this, eh? So I'll just get my screen to move. All right, so as Lilli introduced me, CEO, fancy title for a pretty simple bloke. So CEO of Business Automation Works. This is the team behind ATOmate. We are the founder and CEO. More importantly, I'm involved every day in the operational side of ATOmate. Got a fantastic team, all located here in Australia. We've got a bit of a motto, and it's really simple. We say what we do and we do what we say. So everything we share with you today is real and available to you right now. So let's jump in and get going. What we're going to talk about today is, as I've already mentioned, today is primarily focused on those new to ATOmate. So those of you already using ATOmate, hang in there. We've got a couple little bits in here for you. And we're going to talk about the integration with BGL and what it means for a super fund team within an accounting practice, what it means for the others in the accounting practice, probably focusing on admin team, but most importantly, what this is going to mean to your client, those very important people in this relationship. So let's jump in. So, so we've answered the first poll. Very quickly, I've got a second one, and this is about understanding a little bit about who is on the call. So the first question is, do you have a dedicated team or person in your accounting practice that manages super funds? So the poll's up now. And then the other question is, what is your role in the practice? Are you an admin person or are you super fund led? So awesome. So the way this feels is, do you have a dedicated team or person managing super funds in your practice? Nearly 70%. This is why our partnership with BGL is so incredibly important to enhance the user experience. Alrighty, so let's get going. So thank you for everyone who's jumped in that and answered that question. Oh, I need to get rid of, I've got something in the middle of the screen. There we go. Okay, alrighty, let's talk about the very significant or the main reasons that practices, Australian accounting professionals, come to us and talk about what we do. The first one is the challenge around PAYG instalment notices. Everyone on this call is going to be going, yep, this is painful. It's not if you're using ATOmate, but for most of you on this call, about 70%, I suggest this will be a pain point. The ATO has messed around with the way that they deliver PAYG instalment notices. It creates significant issues where your clients don't receive an instalment notice. So pretty simply, right? They don't pay the bill. Then that comes back to a reminder and then most often ends in you, the tax agent, needing to spend some time to explain why and what happened and trying to work out how to overcome this issue. The biggest challenge this presents you as an accounting professional is the rub that you have with the client. So you want to be having positive, engaging, proactive, forward-thinking conversations, not chasing why they didn't get a document. MyGov is number 2. While 90% of individual taxpayers in Australia today have got a MyGov account. Most, when you say it's in the MyGov account, they say my what account. So what we know is while the MyGov meets the obligations of the ATO, it gets in the way of your relationship with the client because your clients don't go there. It is clients hate portals, and in real terms, MyGov is a portal. Practice compliance, we're going to touch on this. You've got some very serious obligations as a tax agent to undertake all reasonable steps to protect TFNs. Interestingly, for those that read Accountants Daily, there was a presentation by someone from the TPB this week, and they talked about the tightening of these obligations. And they talked about for small practices that these are some of the things they're going to be looking at: how you're storing data, how you're storing information, and how you're protecting that. Really important. Lilli mentioned this. Saving time. So let me give you a number. We're all accountants on the call. Numbers are important, right? So on average, you will spend 1 hour per day per team member managing ATO correspondence. Now, that's not 1 hour per day for an admin team. It's 1 hour per day for every team member. So if you've got 10 staff in your practice, you're spending an average of 10 hours per week. And if we can take those 9 hours out of ATO document management and put that back into other things, fee earning, playing golf, going to the beach, whatever your heart desires, that's got to be a good thing. So let's move forward. So I want to do, what I'm going to do now is just give you a fast flash point through how ATOmate works. The goal here is to give you a quick overview so that you can compare what we do to your current processes. So let's talk about this. So on the left-hand side of the screen, these are all the steps that we're going to talk about. 90% of this is automation, so capturing documents, doing the sorting, the checking, grabbing data from BGL and your practice management system, really important to our process. Doing compliance checks, review and approval, automatically creating the client communication. So this is critically important. I talked to a practice yesterday, 15 seats, so 15 staff, and one of their number one challenges is they've got 15 people sending emails and they're all different. The client experience is inconsistent. Therefore, when someone else puts the job down, someone else gets a phone call from the client, there's no consistency at what the client may have been advised. And then Lilli mentioned this. We also integrate with your practice, your document management system. So what we create is more informed people, team members, so practice, better informed clients, but we create this circumstance using your document management system to make sure all of these things that we do, document communication, becomes organizational information by pushing that automatically into your document management system. So this is a better graphic of what we do. Most importantly, color-coded. Everything that's orange, you're probably doing manually today. There's 70% of you today that said we're doing it the old way. All of these steps are manual. Anything in this slide right now that is orange is or can be fully automated. Gray indicates that there's some people power or some human involvement. Okay, this is probably a big point. We talked about this sort of. So the way the ATO communicates to you and your clients is confusing. They communicate across many channels, so paper, email, ATO Online, Agent Digital, and MyGov. Our secret weapon right at the start of our journey is we have a deep, direct integration with the ATO. So we will collect all the documents the ATO creates for your clients today, overnight, and we will then complete or carry out our processing checks. So we get all these documents across all channels. Importantly, as I started, MyGov covered. Every document that goes to MyGov that your clients allegedly are looking at but are not, we'll capture those and put those into our process. PAYG installment notices, near and dear to everyone's heart because it's so painful. We collect all of those from the ATO Online channel. Now, very, very importantly, Mythbuster moment here, PAYG installment notices are not available in your client's MyGov account. If you're telling your client to go look in MyGov when they miss that critical PAYG installment, it's not there. So please stop telling them that. Okay, so direct integration to the ATO. Overnight, every night, we capture all of those documents. Our bots or automation kicks in. We read every document. We identify the client. We identify the document type. And then the first step of the process is we complete the naming of those documents. As you know, when they come from the ATO, random naming, we use your naming conventions. So Lilli, if you are the practice today, part of our implementation process is we go, hey, Lil, how do you guys name your documents today? You'll tell us, and we effectively just replicate what you've been doing. So consistency before implementation and following through. Integrations. Now, you're going to probably hear this word a lot. So we integrate with all of the major practice management systems. So MyOb, Xero, Logit, APS, Reckon, the full Handysoft suite. So there are 4 products, and of course CCH. Recently added BGL, and we're going to talk about why we've added BGL. So this is hybrid. We gather data from, if you're using Xero, from Xero, and then additional information from BGL. So what are we getting from practice management? Type of entity, name of entity, contact details, first name, last name, salutation. I keep calling Lilli Lil. I have a Lilli. The only time I call Lilli is when she's in trouble. It's a bit like Stanley. Yeah, you've got it, Lil. Yeah, so same with your mum. I'll have to openly admit, growing up, probably even today, my mother still calls me Stanley a lot. Probably says something about my maturity and behaviour. But anyway, that's another topic. Let's move on. So salutation. We also capture estimate for tax returns so we can compare the estimate against the outcome. Very, very importantly, For the larger firms on this call today, we captured the responsible party attribute. So this is which partner or manager owns or has responsibility for this client relationship. Super important to create what we talk about as our advanced workflow rules. So you can simplify or you can have this much broader in the way it operates. So let's keep moving forward. I mentioned your TFN responsibility, your obligations to protect the TFN, absolutely critical. So let's talk about that. We automatically remove or redact all TFNs of all documents for all communication channels, whether it be you're using a portal like Virtual Cabinet or FYI Collaborate. We also remove all of the TFNs for all communication by email, and for the old school, that tiny percentage where you need to send a piece of paper with Aussie Post, we remove the TFN for this as well. Now, a couple of you might be thinking, what about PRNs? Yes, we automatically detect where a TFN is embedded in a PRN, and we have a specific workflow for that to take care of that if your practice's posture is to protect that PRN as well. Okay. Very importantly, from a practice perspective, I've talked about protecting in communication. We remove all TFNs before we archive or file documents into your document management system. This is super critical for your practice compliance. I mentioned TBB earlier. That article in Accountants Daily today talked about securing information. So why do we remove TFNs for documents going into document management? Your obligation says undertake all reasonable steps, convert that into what you should or where you should have a TFN. It is for your specific purpose requirement only. As a tax agent, that is in BGL and your practice management system so you can lodge. That is the only place you should be storing TFNs. So therefore, we solve that problem for you by removing them before they go into your document management system. Okay, TFNs. I mentioned this earlier. We automatically create the client communication for you. Now, I just want to repeat again, all this is happening in the wee small hours. It's happening while you're still at home, snoozing, having a great night's rest, having your brekkie. If you're in WA, it happens even earlier in the morning. So we then create the client communication, specifically designed to communicate everything you want the client to know and or do in the body of the email. It removes the reliance on the client being able to interpret the ATO document, work out what they may need to do. It also removes the reliance on you, the tax agent, or your admin team at looking at the document, deciphering it, and then trying to key up an email. We deliver this to you. So let's look at what's on your screen. The poll, the salutation, came from your practice management system. The outcome of the assessment in the year comes off the ATO document. We've checked the estimate in, say, zero tax against the outcome on the ATO. We'll flag it if there's a variance. So let's use a slightly different example. If this is payable, it would state in the body of the email that this is a payable. Notice, most importantly, it will also state directly under the outcome that you need to complete this payment by whatever the due date is. So better informed client, more likely to actually complete the payment that then reduces the amount of follow-up work that you as a tax agent needs to do. Super important. We have 280 odd templates, one unique template for every one of the variants of the ATO document, the document the ATO could create for your client, really importantly. While we're here, the email address that the client sees and receives communication from is your email address. So again, Lilli, if you're the accountant in the practice, then and I'm your client, I would receive or could receive the email directly from your email address, and we'd automatically insert your email stationery. So Lilli, the beautiful thing here is it looks like you came into work today, you sat down, you interpreted the document, read it, created the email, and you sent it to me personally. That builds that client relationship. really important. Now, many options at who could be the sender. You can have an admin at, so a centralized email for your super fund team. You can have a unique email address for your super fund team. Talking about client experience, we attach the ATO document to the email. We're going to talk about this fast, simple, secure. The simple is about your client experience, that very important person in this relationship. If you make it easy for them, they're likely or very likely to act. All right, so we've created the communication. Again, I repeat, it's happened in the wee small hours. We then push all of these documents into dashboards. So Lilli, again, you're the admin person in the practice. You've come into work this morning. One of the first tasks of the day is you're going to have a quick, easy win. You're going to jump into ATOmate. Every document that was created yesterday for your clients has already been processed and set up ready for communication. This dashboard shows us all the documents that are ready to go. The communication in the middle, anything with a pen or pencil, you can edit it. So, you know, Lilli knows me really well. It's my birthday today. It's not actually my birthday, but I do like chocolate cake, just in case anyone's listening. You can wish me a happy birthday. On the right-hand side is an image of the ATO document. Now, we sort documents into two queues, red and green. I bet everyone on the call today can work out green is ready to go, red needs more attention. So any variants we flag go to the red queue. So on the top right-hand corner, you can make a decision on how you're going to communicate it. So email it to the client, post it to the client, or in an example like a zero balance statement of account, you're never going to send it to the client, so you can just simply hit archive and we'll file that for you. So Lilli, for this purpose, you're a small suburban practice, you've got 10 staff, you're the admin person. Your green queue is about 10 minutes a day. The red queue is probably about the same, but you may need to spend a little more time there because there'll be some work that you need to do. Okay, let's bring BGL into our workflow. So this is how we try and describe what changes here. So we capture the documents from the ATO. We gather data and information, as I discussed, from the practice management system. We add BGL. We also then reference BGL to identify, is this document relating to an entity that is a super fund? If it is, then it pushes into the queue, a bit like the green queue, but the green queue is specifically for the super fund team, while all the other documents for the trust and individuals, etc., will go back to Lilli, who manages the documents for the general practice. Communication with the clients the same way. So effectively what we're doing here is where BGL is providing us and you the opportunity to get the super fund documents into the people who are actually managing that client relationship and that work. It's a game changer. Alrighty, so let's keep moving. So here is an example of what the super fund document communication would look like. So the reason I show this up is statement of account for a super fund. Now I have a self-managed super fund, and when I first started getting these documents, it said that I've got a credit or a balance due, but it's not due now. Confusing. Because I'm going, well, how can I have a balance but nothing is due today? So the communication template allows you to determine what part of that you share. What we believe will happen here, the example shows that as of the 13th of February, the balance is zero. Kind of doesn't make any sense. So you have control of these templates. So if this is a payable, but it's not due today, the template would communicate that very clearly. So really important. So of course, what I mentioned earlier, previously, before we partnered up with our friends at BGL, Lilli, as the practice admin, would see all of these. What happens now is we can focus all super fund documents to the super fund manager or the team. In larger practices, you probably have an admin person sitting in the super fund team, right? So this queue, a bit like the green queue I showed you earlier that Lilli would manage, but this would have only documents that relate to the super funds. So the specialist gets to manage it. Lilli, as the practice admin, would not see those documents anymore. So this is the game changer. Ultimately, what we are doing with the help of our friends from BGL is we're putting the super fund team back in control of super fund related documents. So now I'm going to jump out of super fund discussion, go back to Lilli. Lilli, you're an admin team member, but you're going to get some documents that you can't manage that you need to send off to the partner. It might be a penalty for a significant amount of money. It may be a variance. So when we go back, sorry, folks, we go back here. What you can see across the bottom of the screen is this escalate button. So Lilli, what this allows you to do is to push this document to someone else. So it might be the partner. So it's a $500,000 penalty. You're probably not going to manage it as the admin person. So you select who you want to escalate it to. You then add some notes, above my pay grade, etc. And then if I'm the senior partner, I'll get a prompt, a message from ATOmate telling me that Lilli has pushed something to me. I then get into my personal and private queue, won't see everything, but only what's been escalated to me. Toolbox tip here, a nugget of gold. What's probably happening for you, those of you managing this manually today, is you're giving this piece of paper to Bob, sits on Bob's desk, and nothing happens. Or you're wandering around the office, you might do it by email. Then Bob will come back and say, hey, Lilli, this is what I want you to do. This puts the control back to Bob. He can see everything here. The dashboard works exactly the same way. He could escalate it back to Lilli with work instructions, but more likely what happens is Bob will edit the body of the email, tell Stan he's got to pay the $500,000 penalty and email it off to the client, and the job is done. So less pick up, put down, pick up, put down. I know the pick up, put down in the accounting industry is one of the demons that exists in this industry. And everyone is working on this productivity to reduce that level of put up, put down. Okay, so escalation, really important part of the tool. Document management, I talked about this. We file both the native ATO document and the audit trail communication, etc., all into your document management system. You can see most of the populars here. We include OneDrive. There's a few others, Box, Dropbox, etc., etc. So documents automatically get filed and archived. You don't have to do this manually. You don't have to prompt it. As soon as you complete the client communication, email to the client, for instance, automatically filed. The wonderful thing about this is Lilli may have managed the client communication, but I, as the partner or the accountant, received a phone call. I simply go to FYI docs, for instance, and I go to the client file and the communication documents there. I don't need to try and chase Lilli down and say, hey, Lil, what happened here? Okay, so pretty fast and furious. Let me wrap up what we do through three very simple statements. Fast. Fast is about you, the professionals in the industry. So the accountants, the partners, the managers, and the admin team within your practice. We speed up this process. We take it from what is pretty dull and boring, monotonous, highly repetitive, to something that's fast and pretty easy to manage and a good quick win every day. The fast also relates to how quickly you're able to communicate with your client. If you're relying on Australia Post to deliver, it's 10 to 15 days. A payable, it's past due by the time you get it by post, you process it and then get it off to the client. So really important. Simple, absolutely critical in our relationship, in everything we do with our clients. This is about the client experience. No links, no PIN codes, no portals required. If you're using portals and you have some clients using that, that's great. But our simple really relates to it's easy for your client to understand what they need to do, when they need to do it by, etc., while you are secure. We take care of that. We're certified with the ATO. We're ISO certified. ISO is the highest security certification in the land. We are audited by the ATO and ISO externally every year. So security is a very important part of what we do. We automatically meet your practice obligations to undertake all reasonable steps to protect the TFN. So fast, simple, secure, really important. What does it mean to your team? I kind of covered this, but really importantly, what does the ATOmate mean to your team? We remove that tedious work that is not that much fun, but most importantly, it frees you up as a team to focus on the things that are important to you and your clients, high value tasks. One of my personal goals through ATOmate is to free up fee earners to earn fees. And what I mean by that is, if you're a fee earner, you're an accountant and you have responsibility for earning fees, I don't believe you should be doing admin work that distracts you from doing that fee earning. If for our super fund managers, super fund teams on the call today, our integration with BGL allows you to gain clear visibility and control of all documents that relate to super funds. It also means that Lilli, as the practice admin, is not looking at it, then pushing it off by escalation to someone else to manage. So it reduces that work. Your clients are fully informed. It's simple. Email, by the way, is the most popular method of communication. Importantly, our vision is as simple as this. As a practice, you should be able to communicate in the manner with which your client prefers. I sometimes hear your practice, your rules. To be fair, I understand that, but that is not customer centric. So if you're using a portal, that's great for those portal. We have some PIN protection and mobile app options, mail, etc. So it's about simple, easy experience for the client in the manner with which they prefer to be communicated with. I mentioned this before. We're integrated with the ATO. I would rather probably go to the dentist daily than go through the ATO audit. Sounds a bit bizarre, but let's just say they're tough, as they need to be. ISO 27001 certified. We are just about to go through our new audit, which is for the 2022 certification, which is the new standard. Emails are encrypted and automated redaction of TFN. So that covers our introduction to ATOmate. Bit of a taste there for those of you using ATOmate and BGL already, what this will mean. So in wrap up, I'm going to ask a really simple question. Now, I'm certain there's going to be some questions in here somewhere. I'll have a look at the poll questions, the QA, and see what we can answer. I now have a poll. So, Steph, if you launch that poll up, the poll is really about, clearly, the 70% of you that are not using an automation tool, to manage ATO document communication. You joined this call for a reason. Here's your opportunity. Click yes, you'd like to discover some more. What I managed today was a super fast overview of the way ATOmate works. What we'd love to do is jump into a discovery session and talk to you directly as an independent practice about what we do. I'll wrap up that point by saying this one thing. Today, we have about 1,500 practices using our platform. Those practices in size vary. We have lots and lots of sole practitioners, from those that have just kicked off and looking to grow, to what I call the lifestyle sole trader. You know, I don't want to work too hard. I want to have a great time. So we have lots and lots of those. About 300 of those 1,500 are sole traders, right up to the multi-office, not the big four, quite at the big four level, but that next tier down. So our largest practice has 1,500 seats spread across 5 offices. So if you're thinking, oh, I might be too big or too small, don't let that bother you. We scale up and down. So thank you very much for your time today.
So thanks again, Stan and Steph. It was great to have you both on today, and I personally appreciated being your admin manager for the session, Stan.